Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Ed Block CourageCast. And boy, we are getting ever so closer to the Super Bowl, and that also means we are getting closer to the 47th Ed Block Courage Awards, and we have two more of the 2024 Ed Block Courage Award recipients that you are going to get to hear from tonight on this podcast. JK Dobbins, the Los Angeles Chargers Ed Block Courage Award recipient, will join us here in a little bit. And then we'll be joined by the Raiders Ed Block Courage Award recipient, Dalton Wagner. It'll be a very fun podcast tonight. I'm your host, Dave Steinwedel. We don't exactly know where Duane Clemons is. He may be joining us. He may be running late. He never said, so we'll figure that out. But I got my guy, former Ed Block Courage Award recipient, former NFL offensive lineman Wally Williams is here with us. Wally, great to see you, sir. How are you?
Good to be back off in the little IR service last week where my face was swollen up twice the size that it is now. Hey kids, brush your teeth out there, okay? Don't stay away from brush your teeth, okay? Don't fade away from it, you know.
Yuck mouth.
These things happen.
And our guy is back with us. He's been away for a couple weeks, but that'd be former athletic trainer with the Ravens and the Saints. Duane Brooks, great to see you, sir. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing great. I'm excited what's going to be happening the next couple of weeks when you guys come in town. And I'm excited about tonight's pod. I want to talk to KJ and our recipient from the Raiders and talk some Raiders talk. I'm excited.
All right, so let's ask this question as we're getting closer and closer to the Super Bowl. DB, you're the New Orleans guy. Do you have stuff planned for us when we all come down?
As a matter of fact, I do. I got a couple things planned, but they're surprise. I'm not gonna just let you know what's going on right now. But yes, we do have some things planned, and particularly for you.
Oh, damn.
For
I
you.
okay. All right.
For you. We have some things planned for you, right, Wally?
We're gonna put some voodoo dust in your socks and have you howling at the moon.
Right. Dancing butt naked on a table somewhere, the cat's meow. Yeah, it's gonna be you. Oh yeah.
All right. Well,
as the slogan goes on the block down there, show your tits. That's what happens down
there you go.
Okay. Well, I don't have a great segue for what now we're going to segue out of this, but I will just jump right into it, and he is getting himself ready, so I think he can hear us now. That would be Los Angeles Chargers 2024 Ed Block Courage Award recipient JK Dobbins is kind enough to join us. JK, it is great to see you. I know you're a little bummed that the season's over, but how's the first week of the offseason been for you?
It's been great. It's been great. Recovering, just chilling and watching football, wishing I was playing still, but that's okay. Things didn't go our way, but it's been a blessing.
JK, you're on with former NFL offensive lineman Wally Williams and former athletic trainer Duane Brooks, just so that you have the proper introductions. I'll ask you this question. We asked it to everybody. What does it mean to you to be an Ed Block Courage Award recipient?
It means the world to me because, it's an honor. It's an honor to receive any kind of award or any recognition from peers and things like that. So it means the world to me, and especially coming back, from an injury last year when I was in Baltimore. It means the world to me, because I've heard a lot about this award, and it's a really cool award, and I can't wait to go to the ceremony and the things like that and actually enjoy it too.
Yeah, man, come on back. Baltimore loves you, buddy. How that stuff works in B-Boy. They love our Ravens still. So, man, talk a little bit about the injuries because you had a little bit of both in Baltimore and kind of crossing over there and actually finishing the season and completing the entire long haul. Just talk about that mentality and just staying grinding and staying healthy throughout the season.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a blessing if, like you said, finish the season this year, able to have an off season and get better this year, but it's the grind and the way I got through all of that stuff was by prayer. I was able to just pray and get closer to God, and that's what helped me with this grind and things like that. And it's been a journey for sure, but I'm very grateful for the journey. Like, it's beauty in this process. And like you said, is both of them happened. Both of my major injuries happened in Baltimore. And I wish, like, things would have probably been different if I didn't get hurt. I'd probably still be there. But God has His plans, and the plans were for me to get hurt and to come to LA and do what I did this year.
Be with another Harbaugh.
Yeah. Yeah, I might as well be part of the family. I might as well be like one of the sons or something.
JK, as you mentioned before, you had two major injuries.
Mm-hmm.
You ruptured your ACL, then you ruptured your Achilles. Can you share with us, talk to us about which injury was most challenging rehabbing from, and tell us a little bit how it was going through that?
Oh yeah, the most challenging one was the knee by far. Like man, the knee was a whole different ball level, whole different monster. Like the knee, it took 2 years to really even get to like 85-90% of me, because it took more than one surgery. It took 3 surgeries just to get the knee back right.
Okay.
And the Achilles was like kind of like a walk in the park compared to the knee, but like I don't know any better because I had the knee and it was very hard, but Achilles apparently is super hard for people as well, so both are crazy injuries,
Yes.
ones that athletes don't want to have, but I've been blessed to have both of them, and they made me stronger, just my work ethic, my mental is more strong from those things. And yeah, man, the knee was different. It was a different monster. Like, it was different. Like, whoo, it still give me nightmares. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Wally, you could talk some Achilles rehab with him. I mean, you guys both had that same injury, and you rehabbed up there with Bill Tess and those guys, right?
You said,
I'm
Yes.
talking about Wally.
oh,
Yes, I had Bill Tessendorf from that staff when I did my Achilles. I guess with that Achilles injury, I mean, for a running back, um, I knew for me as offensive lineman, we're talking about maybe back in '97. Okay, when I first heard that thing pop and all those things, I thought it was over for me. But as a running back, new technology, you know, really the mental element. How was that coming back for you and having really the confidence for changing direction because that's such a detailed part of your game?
yeah. So whenever I first got back on my feet and I started running and stuff, that was about like 5 months, 5.5 months. I was confident, a little confident, but as I started getting the strength and stuff like that, I built more confidence. But and then I got to the Chargers OTAs and doing the drills. I felt really, really good, really, really good. And you know, but really, where all the confidence came from, where I got all the confidence, was just my prayer.
Mhm.
I would pray, and I know I know He had me. He had a plan for me. You know what I'm saying? So it was easy for me to go out there and just let it go. Like I would say, if I had any kind of worries, say my prayers, and I know God got me, and I go out there and just let it go, just have fun, show my talents to the world, that He's given me. So the confidence came from all of the hard work and prayers for sure.
Talk a little bit about this off season. You have the injury, and then you're a free agent. Was there any sort of hesitation in your mind about teams being interested in you coming off this injury?
Yeah, it was definitely some thought. Like, dang, because me, I always thought like, man, if I get another chance, it's gonna be a good year, you know. But yeah, man, it was times where like, man, you know, maybe teams aren't going to give me another chance. Maybe they'll say like, oh, he gets hurt too much, or oh, he's not going to be coming back from this, you know. And so yeah, there was some times where I would like think that in the back of my mind, but at the end of the day, when I got back on my feet and I was moving around good, I was like, yeah, I mean, even if I get a chance on like a practice squad, like I know I'm gonna take advantage of that opportunity. So then I started getting calls and stuff, and that's when I knew it was gonna be a good year.
JK, I want you. I'm throwing a little shot right, man. Tell me what Arthur Hightower does out there with the Chargers, man. Tell him stop telling all those lies out there in the building, man.
I forgot about old High T.
Right, and tell me what Hightower does out there with you guys.
Man, that's my guy, man. That's my guy. He's a good dude. He's a good dude.
High T. Wow.
Oh man, so y'all know Art.
Yeah. Oh
Arthur's
yeah.
a classmate, a teammate of mine. He went to school with us, man. Yes.
Man,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Small world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I took care of him in college.
Really?
Yes. That was that. He was an athletic trainer in college.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna tell him as soon as I get off of here. I'm gonna text him and tell him I was just talking to y'all.
Yeah. Tell us what Arthur's job is out there. What is his position?
He does a lot of stuff. I don't know the exact name of his position, but he does a lot of things, like a lot of good things. I don't really know the name of the positions because I never really like. No, but he really got a good thing going, man. Like I just don't know. Hey.
High T. So KJ, did you get the opportunity to work with Adrian at all while you were in Baltimore? Adrian Dixon.
Yes, he's great. Whenever because what year was it? The following year, you know, I blew my knee out, but the following year we hired him.
Right.
Yeah. So I got some time with him. I got a little bit of time. I think I got a year or maybe two, maybe a year or two with him. I know that for sure. He's great though. I love him. You know, I love those guys, man. Especially I love Ron Medlin, you know, all those guys.
Old school.
Man. Yeah.
Old school Ron.
Uh-huh.
Adrian is sharp though. Adrian is up and coming. He's a mentee of mine. I'm very proud of him.
Mm-hmm.
So he whoever's there is in good hands with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I met the athletic trainer for LA for you guys at the Ed Block Courage Awards last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's young. He's a young guy.
Yeah.
And but he seems like he's, you know, very versed in what he's doing, and he's, you know, intelligent guy. So you're in good hands from a medical standpoint.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that with the staff that we have here or in LA, you know, I definitely feel that. Like they took care of me. You know, I had to go on IR for that short little stint, but that was from some, you know, unfortunate event. I was already on the ground. Legs weren't in the ground. Somebody just comes and hits my legs late, you know, and some reason, some way, somehow it you know, injured my MCL a little bit, but that was no big deal. And and as you can see, I came back in 4 weeks and was like I never left, you know. So I definitely agree with you that I'm in good hands. You know, I've been in good hands for both places, you know, just unfortunate events.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm
Well,
gonna
look, man. Let me ask this one question about the Chargers and kind of what we saw and what I saw. I know the season is still fresh and it's over, but man, there was some explosive situations there in the playoffs. You know, at the end, McConkey got loose in the secondary a couple of times, and that's where that game need to open up a little bit. The back guys off on the front line for going against you. So going into the off season, you have a healthy off season this year, man. How are you feeling going through the off season about yourself personally, and definitely about the organization and where you guys are going?
I feel good about everything. Starting with myself, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be I'm gonna come back stronger, faster. I'm gonna be more in shape. You know, I'm gonna be even better because, you know, like I've been having to deal with, coming back from an injury, but now I'm not coming back from any injuries. I'm gonna be getting faster, stronger, and getting ready for the season all off season. Say it's gonna be good that way. And as far as a team, that's my agent got to take care of that. You know what I'm saying? My agent and God Himself. They gonna tell me what I need to do. They gonna. That's who's gonna dictate that.
There you go. There you go. Nice and clean, baby. Nice and clean.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, JK, I'm going to put you on the spot. This might be the toughest question you have to answer. You spent a couple seasons with John Harbaugh. You got a season with Jim. Tell me the differences about the two. And then this will be the hard part. Which one do you like more?
Ouch.
You gonna put me on the spot.
Ouch.
Look, man, I love both of them a lot, man. I love both of them a lot. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how I'm gonna answer that one. I don't know.
You can say John because Jim's a Michigan guy. I know that rivalry runs deep.
It does. It does. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Me and Coach Jim, we said we weren't going to talk about. Like when I got to the facility, he was like, "Let's make it. Let's nip it in the bud right here. We're not talking about that's in the past. We're here together. We're here to win a ring together. So we're not talking about it. And so that's what we've been on, man. It ain't been no banter or talking crap to each other. You wouldn't even know that we both went. He went to Michigan and I went to Ohio State. So yeah, it's been good, but." That's a hard one to answer. You can't put me on the spot like that,
man. I thought I'd try.
Oh, man.
All right, JK, let me ask you this. You've been away from Baltimore for a year. I believe you are coming to the Courage Awards. I heard through the grapevine that you will be there. What are you most looking forward to about coming back to Baltimore?
Just seeing the flock, Ravens flock, just getting a chance to see them, I never really got to tell them goodbye, because of the injuries and just, all the stuff that was going on, so it'll be good to see those people in the city again and just being around, man. I truly loved Baltimore. Like I did. It was a place that fit me, very well, so it'll be good to get back and just to be in the city, in the area. It's just that's the place that drafted me. So it's always gonna have a special place in my heart.
What about the seafood?
So I'm allergic to shellfish, so I can't really eat no crab cakes and stuff like that. But the fish and stuff is good. I eat fish and all that. That's good.
All right. Well, JK, this has been a pleasure to get to catch up with you, and we get to do this again in March when you come into town. We get to do the show again, so we can't wait to have you on again soon and see you all dressed up and get your award.
Yep. It'll be fun. It'll be great. I can't wait to see y'all.
All right, man. Hey, give us that score right quick. Give us that score in the Natty. What it's going to look like in the Natty?
35-21.
Ooh.
Ohio State, of course.
35-21. Okay.
Yeah.
It would have made more waves, though, if JK was like, I think Notre Dame wins, though. Just surprise everybody.
Right.
But,
Never.
JK, thank you, and have a great off season, and we'll see you in March.
Yes, sir. See you in March. See y'all in March.
All right.
All right, man.
We have more Ed Block CourageCast here as we wrap up after a great conversation with JK Dobbins. We have Dalton Wagner a little bit later, but we are going to talk a little NFL playoffs because we are in the divisional round here, fellas, and boy, the football wasn't great wild card weekend in terms of wanting to see down to the wire nail biters, but as we look ahead to the divisional round, which game are you most excited to watch?
You want to go first,
that's a good one because I'm super excited about Josh and Lamar going up against each other. Obviously, I'm excited about that. But I'm also excited about what Jaden Daniels and what he may or may not do when he goes up to Detroit this weekend. So those two games intrigue me more than the other two. But of course, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, must see TV. I'm definitely excited about that, but I want to see what Jaden Daniels does too, because he's been exciting to me all year long. And like you and I both said, Dave, in the beginning, we like what the Redskins were. I mean, excuse me, the Commanders were doing this year. So here we are. You know, like you said, divisional round weekend, some playoff football it's exciting to see what the rookie quarterback may be able to do.
I was going to say, if it's a one-score game late, it's hard to bet against the Commanders because of how good they are in that 2-minute situation.
Yes.
In terms of trailing, needing a score. That game's intriguing. Rams-Eagles intrigues me a lot. Because I'm leaning an upset in that one. I really am. I think the Rams go to Philly and pick off the Eagles.
They definitely looked good last week.
They really did. And now, again, they're not going to get 9 sacks because that Eagle offensive line is way better than the Viking offensive line. But Matt Stafford gets hot. Watch out. And here's the other thing, and I've talked to some people about this. Losing Nakobe Dean to that knee injury is big for the Eagles. Maybe Darius Slay's a little banged up. He may not be 100% in the game. Probably will play no matter what. If the Eagles have to sit and play a lot of zone, which is a big staple of Vic Fangio's defense, the Rams have 3 great targets that like to target the middle of that field with Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and Tyler Higbee. They start getting those guys going over the middle of the field. All of a sudden, this could turn into a shootout, and I'm going to take the Rams and their weapons over the Eagles and their pass weapons if it gets into a shootout the way they're playing right now.
I'm going to have to agree with Dave on this one because, the Baltimore Bills game, is an easy thing because you got 2 MVP, guys, quarterbacks, and all those things like that. See what that plays out. But I think the thing that puts that over the top is Derrick Henry this year for the Ravens. Nobody will stop him. I don't think the Buffalo defense will stop him either. And of course, I want to see, Detroit and the Commanders. That game is going to be a high-scoring game. I just believe the ball is going to be going back and forth, all over the place. So it's going to be an exciting game for an offensive guy like me. But look, this Rams-Eagles game, man, and I'm talking about the Rams defense and Verse and what's our guy named is at Florida State? The other guy that came from Florida State. That was
Fitz.
Okay, look, I'm just saying that they may not attack Philly's offensive line like they beat up Minnesota's, but if they can make Philly one-dimensional with Saquon Barkley and keep them bottled up, which I think they can do that, and just make Jalen Hurts beat them with his arm, I think that's going to be problematic. I mean, that passing game hasn't been on point for Philly in a month and a half, and Saquon has been the catalyst. So I think that the Rams defense is capable of making them one-dimensional, and now we're going to see if Jalen Hurts can beat them with his arm.
By the way, for the Ravens-Bills game, according to AccuWeather, the real feel potentially could be minus 15 degrees with a low of 10 Sunday night by the time the sun sets there in Buffalo with that kickoff set for 6:30. So you think it's going to be hard to want to tackle Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Just wait till you have to try to tackle number 22 coming barreling downhill at you, and your body is cold.
Okay. Those are decisions, man. And that's the equalizer. That's the thing that I say to put the Ravens over the top and with them this year that they did not have last year. But the Rams thing, I'm with Dave with that. I would not be surprised if the Rams, punish Philly and take Saquon out. Under 100 yards rushing. If they keep him under 100 yards, then the Rams win.
Yes. And you go back to that first matchup, that's what they weren't able to do, was limit Saquon Barkley. He took over that game in the second half, and the Rams didn't have an answer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Puka Nacua left that game very early. I think Higbee was still banged up. Like the Rams were not really healthy when those two teams played each other early in the season. And you try to avoid having the recency bias of watching the Rams demolish the Vikings and go, well, that's what I'm basing it off of. And there's a little bit of that's going in here. But also Minnesota's game plan the last 2 weeks, I still don't really understand offensively what they were trying to do in those two games against the Lions and the Rams, which in the regular season were Sam Darnold's worst games were the Rams, and both times he played the Lions. So, shocker, he plays the Rams, he doesn't play well. Color me surprised. But I do want to ask this question because the Dallas Cowboys decided to move on from Mike McCarthy. Yeah, I think DB knows where I'm going with this. And there's a primetime name that is getting mentioned as a possible head coach. Let's start with this. What do we think the odds are that Deion Sanders is the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys? And how do we even feel about his name as a possibility?
Well, I'm not surprised. I'll say that. What's the likelihood? That's a good question. Obviously, I don't see him at Colorado another 2, 3, 4 years. I don't see that happening. So I think it's very likely that it could possibly happen, but by the same token, I'm not sure if it'll work. I'm hearing different things about, Deion is able to stand up to Jerry and all that kind of stuff. I don't know about that. I mean, that still remains to be seen. I'm not going to give an answer on whether or not I think he's going to be successful or not. I think he'll be, wherever he coaches, he'll be successful. But as far as like Dallas Cowboys standards, Super Bowl or bust or anything like that, I don't know about that. But I know he'll win some games for him. I feel confident about that. He'll change the culture. But how much and how much of a change it'll be and how successful they'll be, I can't really answer that. I'm going to leave that up to you guys.
What? Man, it ain't got to be successful. Hey, listen, if he offered Prime the job, he going to take the job. It's about keeping it pop culture. It's about keeping it 100 and selling tickets. All right? And listen, they're gonna get Shador there and they're gonna get Travis Hunter there. All right, and now they're gonna sell tickets for the next 10 years and have the Cowboys on lock, and everybody gonna be doing the dance and stuff like that. All right. That's what the Cowboys are about, man. That's what it's all about. Keeping that star, keeping that flag. They can go, you know what? Let's say you get the job next year. Man, they can go 4-12 next year. Whatever it is, 4-13. They're gonna sell everything out. Every Cowboys fan is gonna be just going ape crap all over the place.
Oh, Wally's camera just took a dive.
Getting hype, talking about Deion Sanders. You see what that does? You see what that hype does?
See what happens? See what happens when the camera just falls all off. Goodness gracious.
The hype.
That's the hype. That's the hype right there, baby.
Malfunction. That's that
hype
Deion
right
hype.
The camera saw Wally trying to do the Deion dance, the Deion shuffle, and just I'm no good right now that just happened.
That's the hype right there. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. And that's what Jerry Jones wants. Okay, you saw it live. That's what he wants right there.
If that matter about success and winning games, it's just about putting butts in the seat and just being a part of the pop culture. That's what you're saying?
That's what all it's about, baby. All right, that's hey, Deion is the coach. Shador is the quarterback. We move on. We move on from Dak. Okay, we get Shador in there next year. We move on from Dak, and we got to manipulate the draft to get Travis Hunter. You think Jerry can't pull that one off? You think that won't be pop culture and put that star right back on top before they even win a game?
That's true.
Hey,
That's true.
He did it at Colorado. Colorado was hot before they even won a game. Then they messed around and upset TCU, and now it's the best program in the country after one game. Okay, he will flip the script and do the same thing just based on hype in Dallas. Guaranteed.
I think my biggest question, that is terrifying. My biggest question with this is sort of what DB was alluding to was, will Deion be willing, if he takes the job, and I think it's 50-50. It would not shock me if Jerry goes elsewhere. It would not shock me if Jerry hires Deion. So it's 50-50. But I look at it like this. Will Deion be willing to hold Jerry Jones accountable? Because the reality is that's what's holding the Cowboys back is Jerry Jones and the way he is going about picking players and building a roster. If Dallas is ever going to get to where they want to go, they have got to have a coach that's not afraid to go at Jerry Jones and criticize and critique the moves he makes in that war room. No knock on Mike McCarthy, but I think we can all agree Mike McCarthy was a yes man, and it eventually caught up with him. The Cowboys roster had some deficiencies on it, and it started to show over the past of the last 2 years. You look at the playoff game against the Packers. You look at this season. Now, again, this season you have the injury to Dak so early in the year. CeeDee Lamb's banged up, but the roster construction hasn't been great in Dallas for a couple years. So are you willing, if you're Deion Sanders, to take this job and be critical of Jerry Jones? Because that's the only way you're truly going to get the success that is the expectation from Jerry Jones, is to be a perennial Super Bowl favorite, be in conference championships, and be in Super Bowls.
Well, look, I think you're dealing with a different animal when you're dealing with Deion. And we can put the parallels between him and Mike McCarthy and all those things like that. And I'll say this for the same thing at Colorado and for Jackson State or any other program he's been at or where he's going, okay? See, Deion doesn't need the Cowboys as much as the Cowboys need Deion. And it was the same thing at Colorado. He didn't need Colorado. Colorado needed him. So you're going to make adjustments to accommodate what you're bringing in. Okay, he is an entity alone by himself. Okay, he's a marketable brand by himself. So you're going to make concessions. And it's about whether it's holding Jerry accountable or saying that, look, what we do here, Jerry does this thing, and I deal with this on this particular end. So if Jerry's going to do the general manager thing, that's what he does. He brings the players, and I got my guys over here to the left. Now, I want my dogs here, and Jerry knows who I want. Okay, and I think they're going to be concessions made for him than any other coach that have came through. This is not Justin Garrett coming through there. Or Jason Garrett. This is not some backup damn quarterback from Troy Aikman. This is a Hall of Fame player who is his own deal. He doesn't need to leave Colorado. So he's cool where he is. Okay, Dallas needs him more than Deion needs Dallas.
Makes sense.
I think that logic right there alone is a good point to be made. Mike Vrabel hired by the Patriots. What are our thoughts on that move before we take a break?
Not surprised. He's probably the best person for the position. It'd be interesting to see what happens in his first year, what he does with Drake May. And that's another organization where I'm not really impressed with the roster that they have. So it'll be interesting to see, what type of moves they make via draft or free agency to get better. But I think he's the best person for the position. I do.
Yeah, bad for Gerard Mayo, but very predictable as to that where he was going to be the head coach when he left Tennessee.
Well,
very predictable.
I was gonna say I have a lot of issues with how they handled Gerard Mayo. I for sure don't think he got a fair shot, but like
No.
Vrabel was the guy. I just want to know why you didn't hire him last year. That's what I don't understand. It's because this guy was available last year. You could have hired him last year. I thought all season you had a lot of teams that were regretting their head coaching moves, and I thought the Patriots were probably in that boat because, look, I think Gerard Mayo may have a chance to be a great coach down the line, but you kind of threw him into big shoes that were impossible to fill with that roster.
Correct.
But I think
and who knows? They had something in that contract where he was, supposed to be the head coach, after Belichick left, and I guess it was a couple of years into the contract, and they honored that in that 1 year, and maybe even Vrabel knew that too. They're all Bills guys, so maybe you said, hey, we already kind of guaranteed him the head coaching job after I leave, and after that we'll move in a different direction and probably get you. And I'm sure those guys had some kind of clue as to how the operation was going to go. I just don't think the Patriots do things surprisingly. Everything is very deliberate, and that's the Belichickian way as we know it. So I don't think either one of those coaches was surprised. I don't think Mayo was shocked by his firing. Hey, Vrabel was available. Okay, that was it. Big bait take little bait. That's how that goes.
All right. Well, we are going to step aside. We have one more guest joining us. Dalton Wagner, the 2024 Ed Block Courage Award recipient from the Las Vegas Raiders, is joining us on the other side of this break. Welcome back to the Ed Block CourageCast. As we said, we have one more great guest joining us to wrap up this podcast. We talked with JK Dobbins from the Chargers a little while ago, and joining us now is 2024 Ed Block Courage Award recipient with the Las Vegas Raiders. That would be Dalton Wagner is with us. Dalton, it is great to see you. How is the offseason treating you?
It's been great so far. We're about a week and a half into it, just letting the body heal up and recover and get everything back rolling here next week. So it's been good to get some downtime, good to be with the wife and the dogs, and really just enjoy some of the free time again.
What does it mean to you to be an Ed Block Courage Award recipient?
Oh man, it means the world to me. It was such an honor to even first off be nominated, and then second to even win it. Especially with the guys on the team, the caliber I was up against too. Like, it was some very tough competition, and to be able to even be in the running with those guys and guys of those character and quality was probably honor enough. And then to win it, I can't even say how ecstatic I was when I found out. It's truly humbling. It's just awesome. It's just really awesome.
Well, Dalton, man, look here, man. I'm kind of looking at your bio and how you go about things, and I got a huge amount of respect for you because as us undrafted free agents go through this business, we have a chip on our shoulder every day. But
Absolutely,
I'm just kind of looking at you, man. You look like a Raider. Okay, 6'8", just a massive man. Look at Raider, all those things like that. So, talk about what that epitomizes with you and having that logo on your chest.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, first off, coming out the blocks, undrafted free agent, there's going to be a chip on your shoulder, especially as an O-lineman too, being an undrafted free agent. There's a lot of work to do. It's a high-quality room we're in. It's a results-driven business where if you're not getting the job done, they will sit you immediately, and they won't even have a second thought about it. And so to be able to wear the shield and be able to represent it the way that I hope I do every day is truly an honor. And the history of the Raiders organization runs deep. And to be able to be a part of it every single day is something I don't take for granted at all. It's truly an amazing experience to be able to go to work every day, to be able to go out there and practice, be in the meeting room with the guys, and truly walk out there every single time having the Raider logo on my chest. And it's just really awesome experience. And I couldn't be more grateful to the Raider organization, and to just embody that commitment to excellence through even winning the award as well has been truly awesome.
So Dalton, tell us a little bit about your injury that you sustained and coming back from that, and working with Chris and those guys in the athletic training room. How was that?
Yeah, absolutely. So came in May with the Raiders as a rookie. you know how it is as a rookie. It's tough going. It's tough business, and you're doing everything you can to try to scratch, claw, and bite, find a way onto the team, and do it whatever it is, whatever's asked of you. And I ended up tearing a part of my, I guess, both sides of my groin where they attached kind of at the hip, and had to undergo a lengthy surgery and a really long recovery process. Like it was a challenge. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna try to dress it up any which way or the other. It was a hard recovery, and you had those doubts that creep into your mind during that time. Am I going to continue to be a professional football player? Am I going to continue even have the opportunity to do this at the level I want to? It was something that was always in question, but the support staff I had around me through Chris, Drew, he's one of our other guys in the training room, Tim, like all of them in there, was absolutely fantastic. Any day that I'd even start to stumble, it'd be immediately, you pull back in, you're locked back in, let's get this going, let's get this right, and I think those guys really helped pour into me into this second year, coming back out of that injury. Like it was a challenge. Not playing football for a year, it's tough. Like, yeah, you get to weight lift, you get to run, and you're doing your rehab and your treatment. I was fortunate enough that the GM let me stay and work in on meetings and stuff, and I got to be there all day with the guys. Like you really felt like you were still part of the team. You just, during practice, you were doing your rehab or running or what have you. But not playing football, there was definitely a fall off. When I came back to OTAs, you train it, but nothing's like live bullets. You guys know that. Like it's hard to come back and think you could pick it up after a year. So training camp and OTAs was a real hurdle for me, and it was tough getting back into what I am, who I am, and it's try to live up to that Raider standard, and especially the standard we set in the O-line room as a unit. We got Colton Miller in there that really leads the room and what excellence looks like. And so to be able to just try to follow in his steps, he helped me out a lot, because he was also dealing with an injury, and he helped me out a lot with coming back and having the right mindset. And even when it is a bad practice, because you're trying to figure it out again, like it's all good. And so coming back after that, it was good. I finished out training camp and preseason the right way. Was able to get a practice squad spot, and then stayed with the team the whole year and just improved, and just stacked the days. Even when we had our stretches that weren't very fun. I think it was eight or nine that we weren't winning. There is one thing I can control. I was a practice squad guy, so what's the one thing I can control? I can control the look I give to Max Crosby every single day. I can control the look that I give to Caleb Von Chasen every single day. And I've got to go out there with the best mentality to help this team win. And just every day, I'm not going to be the vampire. I'm not going to be the energy vampire. I'm not going to be that. I'm going to be the guy that brings the energy. I'm going to be that juice pack that tries to go out there, no matter what the circumstances are, and let's play ball. Let's have fun.
Yeah, and Dalton, you kind of hit on that stretch right there where team was going in one direction, and it kind of ended where it ended. How, and trust me, I've been on a lot of 4-12 teams, so I get it. I get it. So really, talk about just that progression, that you had to go through, and you talked about training camp and having the confidence and finishing the year out and being able to perform for those guys. When did it get to a point with you where you felt like, okay, I've been through it. Now I'm getting back to the Dalton Wagner of old here, and I'm able to have that explosion and perform like I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of that biggest moment was probably about 4 weeks after training camp, maybe 5 weeks, where I think we were on the third or fourth game of the season. You had that down week after training camp, and it was just starting to all kind of come together a little bit again. And it was like, all right, that's feeling good. I'm moving well. I'm doing good. That's right. And then it was like that 5th, 6th week, it was like, whoa, there it is. Like there it is. That's what it is. Like, it's like you're figuring it out, and you're talking to your guys, you're taking your coaching, you're doing everything you can to try to do it. You're watching your extra film at night before you go to bed with your normal text. Like there's a lot that went into it still, but I think it was about probably week 6 that I really started to put it together. And then I think this year, especially, I took my biggest stride probably week 10 or 12, like really using my length and pass protection, really fitting lower pad level. Like the feet were on fire, slow feet don't eat. So you got to make sure those were rolling, and really just working that pad level and working that just, as a big guy, you got to make sure you use your length. There's a lot of small guys that they know how to use their length, but as a big guy, you take it for granted. So just relearning it, getting back into it, and making those strides really helped a lot, like I said, I can't talk enough about Caleb Von Chasen, man. Like I made the switch to left. Well, swing tackle, but playing left tackle. I've never really done it in my career until this year. And so every day we'd be out after practice and I'd be giving him the looks of who he's going against. And at the same time, it's like, all right, let's, I'm working vertical sets because who we're playing. And now this is something I can work into my routine now on the left side. It's just extra repetitions on repetitions on repetitions that really helped out. And Caleb was a great asset. And same with Max. I mean, you're going against an all-pro every rep, every day. And what people don't realize about Max, I mean, I'm sure it's been said somewhere, but coming from the horse's mouth here, he doesn't care. Whether
every
practice,
day.
whether you're in helmets, you're in a walkthrough, you're in whatever it is, he does not care. He is going full speed. So you can't help but get better. Like it's because you're going, it's like, you'll see it. It's like half the line, the 4 over, they're going like, kind of like a jog through. And then it's like Max and I full speed. We're just going at it, trying to, because I'm like, I'm not going to be the guy giving him a bad look. I'm not going to be the reason he's not prepared for Sunday. I'm going to do everything. He wants it full speed. That's what Max wants. Let's get it going. So yeah, to be able to be around those guys and just really get back into it was a challenge. But the support system I have with the Raiders, it's the strength staff as well too. I can't talk enough about those guys. They rebuilt my confidence. They changed my body. I'm moving better than I've ever moved in my life. Like I thought this surgery would be a detriment, in all honesty, like the permanent scar tissue, nerve damage, all that stuff. But the way AJ, our head strength coach, had attacked that time with me, and even just through the season, just working all the stuff we worked, like there hasn't been a detriment. Like, and in all honesty, like there's probably been an improvement, like, and especially in a lot of my flexibility and bending and stuff. Like there's been a lot of improvement. So again, it's a fantastic support staff I've got.
Do you feel a little extra motivated now going into this off season? After such a devastating injury that ended your season last year, so much of the uncertainty, being an undrafted guy with this injury, now having a year, do you feel more motivated this off season than maybe you did in prior off seasons?
Yeah, I mean, I think the confidence factor, I'd say more than the motivation, is there. My motivation last year was incredibly strong-willed. Like I stay in Las Vegas to train here at our facility. Like I don't know if you guys have seen the Raiders facility. I believe it is the best in the business. There is nothing cut short in that building there. And I like to stay with our strength staff and work, because again, AJ, he builds PT into your strength plan and your running and everything too, because he has his certifications and everything. So he does a lot that brings that extra stuff out. But I think the confidence into this year is the big one. As I've shown myself, you have a little bit of a shaky confidence coming out of the injury, especially the OTAs and training camp went the way they did, that I didn't like them. They weren't good. They weren't good, but they should have been. So to be able to have that confidence booster of, I had the season, I got a lot better, things are improving a lot. Now it's like, the only way is up. There is no going back. Like there's no excuses. There's no nothing. Like we've got to go up from here. So I'd say there's a little bit extra motivation there. Yeah, but confidence is definitely the big one.
Dalton, so tell us, I hear you talking about going against Max in practice and you guys in full speed. Do you have a welcome to the NFL moment that you can remember?
Yeah, I can. Funny you asked it. It's I think it was the 3rd day of OTAs, my very first year as a rookie. The speed of the game is something that is completely different than college. And, I played in the SEC, so I thought the speed would be still, like fast, but not, not as, like, I thought it'd be a little faster. I am telling you, we hit that cadence, and we were running at like a 68 pro, and we hit that cadence, and like I don't even think my knee started to like extend in my past that before he was already 3 steps up field. And I was like, well, and I didn't even touch him. He was already at the quarterback, and it was over. And I was like, okay, my cadence timing is a lot more important. The speed is a lot faster. But that was definitely one of them. And then there was another one. There's another one in training camp as well too, where he caught me off balance on one and just one arm shrugged me, just tossed me into the ground. And yeah, that one wasn't good either. That one wasn't good either.
Well, by the way, we just found Duane Clemons. So DC, I know you're a Chief guy. You can ask Dalton, the Raider recipient, a question here.
I'm so sorry, guys, man. I'm out here in Maryland. We had a little bit of black ice incident. Wife took a spill, so I'm a little late to the party trying to help her out. But Dalton, obviously, you're in a tough situation. The Raiders have been in this division dealing with my Chiefs for a long time. What is the next step for you guys to move forward so you guys can be, the division champs, and which I know is the first step in what you guys want to start accomplishing?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a heck of a question there. Honestly, it's a heck of a question. I mean,
right
you
off
might
the
have
street,
to
right
turn
off
me
the
into a
street
GM
with
right
that
here, huh?
fire. Right off the street with the fire.
Right.
I would
You
say, in
warm
all
up to it.
honesty, is the biggest thing that we're going to need heading into this is going to be some sort of just consistency with how we roll forward now, and it's going to be belief in each other, belief in whomever is in charge in both the GM and the head coach position, and just a full buy-in. And I think that's our next step. I played at the University of Arkansas. We didn't have very many winning seasons, but we did have one. And what stood out to me the most on that, it was the accountability, it was the leadership, and it was the buy-in. And those were the three, and we finished well that season. And I think there were glimpses of that, when AP first took over, and there were definitely glimpses of it this year. Like, guys fought to the very end with him and everybody, and now it's like we know this team can buy in, and we just got to hitch our wagon and just get this thing rolling. So whomever they bring in, like, it's going to take those three pillars to really get this thing going.
All right, Dalton, you've mentioned the SEC a couple times. I have to ask you, do you have an SEC bias?
Partially. I mean, I played in the conference. I suppose.
Do you think
about it,
Alabama
yeah.
and Ole Miss should have made the college football playoff? Is really where I was going next.
You see, I enjoyed seeing new faces in the playoffs. I really did. But you can't. I mean, I don't know. I was an O-lineman, so it's like my opinion is whatever it is. But I don't think you can really sneak into it with some regular season losses and stuff like that weren't, the losses you probably shouldn't have had. Like, this is the highest level of what you can get in college with the national championship. And there are teams that were definitely deserving to be in there. And, that maybe they weren't as competitive games as we would have liked, but on paper, on the boards, on the stat sheets, they deserve to be in there. So I thought it was a good selection of what they made, in all honesty.
I like this SEC guy.
I
like
12 SEC teams in
I
there.
like him. I live in Louisiana, Dalton, and I live in SEC country. I'm not an SEC guy, but I live in SEC country. So, and I hear a lot, LSU's right there. So,
Yep.
My family's big LSU fans, and the SEC, I get too much of it here. But you're a good SEC player. I like you. I like you a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad blood between the SEC teams and I still. So
Yes.
I think Arkansas should have made it. That's all I'm going to say. I think they were 7-6, but they should have made it.
Hey, Dave, can I ask one more?
By all means, DC, you get the final question before we wrap this up.
So Dalton, Wally and I never knew what it was like to play for a former player. What is it like to play for a former player as a head coach versus playing for, I won't say a regular head coach, but a coach that's never actually put a jock strap on and went out there and knocked snot bubbles out of somebody's nose?
I will say this. The biggest thing I respected about AP, and I will talk about it probably until the day I die, is he brought that hard hat mentality. He brought that you're gonna work. He's like, I was a former player. He's like, there was one way I knew how to fix things, and it was go to work. And so I'm no stranger to hard work. Like we talked about earlier, like being undrafted guys, like there's no hiding it. Like work is work, and it exposes whomever when the spotlight comes on. But one of the coolest things with having a former player as a head coach, AP came in there on his first day after being the interim, and he said, he addressed the whole team, coaches, staff, GM, everybody that was in there. And he said, he's like, every single player in these seats can do your job, but he's like, you can't do their job. He's like, you will treat the players with respect. He's like, you will treat them the way they are expected to be treated. He's like, you will coach them hard. He's like, but you won't be derogatory. He's like, you won't insult them. There won't be anything like that. He's like, I want to make sure from day one, the get-go, this is clear, is that these players will be treated with respect. He's like, they won't be insulted. They won't be made fun of. Like, there's nothing like that. No belittling. And so that was something I thought it really stuck out to me. I mean, it made me feel appreciated. I mean, you guys have all been through the carousel. You know what coaches can say. Like, I mean, like we're no strangers to getting our feelings hurt. It is what it is. But to have that respect, you know, and it was something that was cool. And AP brought it in there, and there were still, don't get me wrong, there were still moments, you know, you got your butt chewed and, you know, this, that, and the other. It's some choice words we probably can't say on here, but it was,
oh yes,
it
you
was
can.
always going to be
in the locker room.
All right, well, Dalton, this has been a lot of fun. I do believe you are joining us in March in Baltimore.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
you get to see all of us yet again, and we get to do this show one more time together in person. So are you a big seafood guy? I know we're talking oysters.
You're talking to an O-lineman. There's not a thing you can put in front of me except for tofu. You put tofu in front of me, I'm not going to eat it. But anything else you put in front of me, I'm going to eat it.
Right,
Do you know how to process a crab properly? I suggest you start learning your technique.
Oh, that's a good point.
That is a good point.
You got to learn this to fit in.
You got to think. I grew up in Illinois, and I went to school at the University of Arkansas, and now I live in a desert. So as far as processing and stuff, I got to learn probably a little better. I'll tell you what, though, I could strip a crawfish like the best of them, though. I'll tell you that.
It's a little harder than a crawfish, but it's if you go on YouTube, there's plenty of good videos.
All right, I'll do my research then.
The lover of the mud bugs.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dalton, thank you for taking some time. Congrats on being the Raiders recipient, and we cannot wait to see you in person and hang out and have some fun in March at the Ed Block Courage Awards.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it, guys. Thanks again.
Good stuff.
All right, man.
Thanks, Dalton.
That is actually going to wrap up this edition of the Ed Block Courage Cast. For Dalton Wagner, for JK Dobbins, for DC, for DB, for Wally Williams, I'm Dave Steinwedel. So long, and have a great week. Enjoy the football.